Good afternoon for those of you watching this live. I am Josh Bycer from GameWisdom.com, and today we got a special demonstration of Fail Better Games' latest title, Sunless Sea. This game was released a few months ago. It had a successful Kickstarter, and today I am joined by two members of Fail Better to help me talk about the game and sort of walk me through the basics. So please welcome from Fail Better, Chris Gardner and Liam Weldon.
Hey.
Hello there.
Hi guys, it's great to have you on.
Good to be here.
Yes. Thank you for having us.
Yeah. So we're going to get going right now. You guys should be still able to view the Sunless Sea screen right now.
Yep.
All right, so we're going to start a new game. And while waiting for that to load up, for people who aren't familiar with Sunless Sea, why don't the two of you talk a little bit about what is Sunless Sea?
We'll pause while we wait for who's actually going to start that. So Sunless Sea is a game of survival, exploration, and loneliness. Okay, that's so the non-marketing way of saying that is, it's the turn of the century. You are in this big underground cavern where London has been dragged by bats. And you are exploring this underground ocean in your ship, and it's about your adventures on the low seas. I've always wanted to say that.
I just love them when it's called the Untersee. Is that the correct pronunciation?
Untersea, yeah.
Nice.
The kind of lore explanation for that, I believe, is that S's reverberate too much around the cavern, so sailors are wary of using S's. So that's the reason they call it the Untersee, and they refer to Z stories. That's what Alexis told me. I'm not sure if he was winding me up or not, though.
We have to take him at his word, or the whole thing just falls apart.
Yeah. All right. You guys, the main screen should be up, and is it coming in clear on Twitch for those of you watching?
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Oh, yep.
Cool. Yep. All right. So this is the main screen. This is what you first see when you load the game. And the first question I have for the two of you is, when you play Sunless Sea, like you have Fail Better's previous game, Fallen London, you have this logbook that basically represents everything the player has, his options, and the story. What was the decision to sort of base the entire game experience around like this book, sort of chronicling your journey?
So when we first envisaged the game, it was definitely as an extension of our browser game, Fallen London. Like the experience would be much like Fallen London is about exploring a city. This would be about exploring an ocean and the stories that you would find and encounter there. But the big difference was that whereas you just jump to locations in Fallen London, it would be all about your journey to those locations and back. So there's this constant kind of like rhythm of finding new places and returning home with the goods that you found, be they cargo or prizes or just good stories. And so we had this. We knew that we wanted the narrative to be front and center, and it sort of that.
Are you still there? Liam,
Yeah.
cut out just a little bit there at the end.
Oh, sorry.
That's good.
So it kind of felt natural that you would have this possession, this book that chronicled your various adventures.
And it fitted with the idea of a kind of nautical logbook as well.
All right. So I moved forward a few pages in the book. This is, of course, the starting section for those of you just tuning in. And the first thing you have to decide on is essentially your pass in the world of Fallen London. So at this point, I know that each of these choices affects your starting stats, whether it's pages, iron, hearts, or mirrors. But do these choices, or vels, do these choices affect any of like the in-game story or potential choices down the line?
Yeah, occasionally. Not a lot, because we don't want to kind of penalise you because you wanted to be a street urchin rather than a poet or whatever. But there's a few kind of there's a few points where it does make a difference. Yeah.
It also affects your starting, your first crew member, and the way that you choose to interact with them. They often have like goals and ambitions in the undersea themselves, and you can choose to ignore those. You've definitely got that choice. Be a bit cruel, but also you can it can kind of guide you to different sort of like quests and aims when you leave port.
Okay. All right. So normally I think I played as the philosopher for the mirrors bonus, but for today, do you guys have any preference or any choice on who should I be?
I've seen a lot of the veteran of campaign of 68, which is the gun stat. I quite like the street urchin. I like the Veils.
Urchin's my favourite, I have to say.
I like the sneaky gameplay.
All right.
Sneaky.
Will be a sneaky street urchin. All right. So now we have our first crew member, Longshanks. Now, of course, these are your stats. Echoes represents your currency in the world. I am now a Z captain.
The stats, so Veils, pages, these are all named after kind of important characters in the Fallen London setting. The masters who stole London all have names like Mr. Pages or Mr. Veils or Mr. Wines. Wines didn't get a stat in Sunless Sea. I'm not sure what that would have represented.
So now this part is where you essentially choose your goal for this play of Sunless Sea. And Sunless Sea definitely has the roguelike nature to it, as you can replay the game with different ambitions, different starting stats, and certain elements carry over between the different games. So for these different ambitions, how was it developing and deciding what would be the player's goal when they set out onto the Untersee?
Well, from the very beginning, we're very interested in narratively, why do people go to sea? We didn't want it to be the sort of game where your sole ambition was accruing wealth or smuggling and piracy. We wanted there to be alternative reasons to go to sea. So you've got the natural philosopher route, or just the classics of like explorer going out for a good time, wanting to come back with a tale to tell. Obviously, there's you need there's financial motivations there as well. You can't just keep on going out to sea for a good time. You eventually got to pay up. But we really wanted it to feel like it wasn't entirely financially motivated. The Father's Bones story is something we wanted, something that was a bit more personal as well, something that felt like your what was driving you to the sea wasn't money or good stories. It was there was a connection. It's a great option for people who are interested in the idea of role play, because it's kind of uncovering a mystery there yourself. You don't know who your father is, obviously, at the start of the game, and we really wanted to appeal to people who enjoyed that sort of thing.
Whereas people who aren't so interested in that can take like the wealth option and just gather vast hordes of cash.
All right. Do you guys have a preference for which one we should go after?
I like fulfillment. I think fulfillment's my favourite one.
Right.
I'm sure we can do fulfillment in an hour's cast.
Hopefully, unless things go badly once we get out onto the water. All right. So we've chosen that, and I'm going to choose my lord, my lady. I'm just going to go with captain. That seems like a standard choice. Okay. And I'm going to choose, I guess, this diver guy. I'm a diver urgent.
Better safe than sorry, I suppose.
All right. So after that little introduction, we are now officially into the game. You can see on the bottom right, these are I guess your choices or like things you could do right now, right?
Yeah. It's you're sort of presented with baffling amounts of choice in the game, and as you return to London and the more you explore, the more opportunities open up to you. So Very few choices there at the moment, which is nice.
Mhm.
You don't often get that.
Yeah.
Man, as you were saying, the amount of choices you get when you start can be a little overwhelming, especially when you go to the shop and you see, all this stuff just laid out to you.
hmm
So for new players getting into the game, what's usually like the standard route or like the beginning thing to do when you first get past the introduction, you first create your character?
I tend to advise people to just head out into open waters. Now that might be that I think it's nice for you to feel it out for yourself, or it might be I'm a sadist and I could just go and get destroyed without any prior preparation. But no, there's some interesting areas to explore that aren't too far from Fallen London, and there's usually some pretty good rewards for just poking your nose outside of the Thames
Yeah.
and just visiting a couple of islands first.
It's always good to go to the Admiralty first, I think, and get a commission to find somewhere. Because if you get lucky and it's somewhere nearby, that's a nice early boost.
Okay. So we got one, I guess, mini goal here to go to the Iron and Misery Company funging?
Funging. I say
Funging.
Funging. Funging station. Where they funge, obviously.
Yeah.
Someone's got to funge, and by God, they'll do it.
Yes. All right. So we've been looking at the logbook for the last few minutes now. Let's get onto the open water. All right.
This was Paul Arendt, our artist. This was his first. One of the first times he'd drawn London in this sort of detail. In Fallen London, it's all sort of silhouettes and cityscapes, and there's a map, but it's very zoomed out. So this was quite a treat for him, really. He put a colossal amount of effort into all the details and making sure it was all laid out properly and everything.
There's nothing that'll bring out the perfectionist in an artist, though. That every time he starts up the game, it's there, just
Right
immediately there.
Also, can we just do a call out to Bad Stevener's Abyss, which is the greatest name in the history of nautical exploration? That was, I believe, that's one of the Kickstarter backer names. If you backed at a certain level, you could have your name attached to a nautical kind of feature in the game. And I'm sure that when we saw Bad Stevener, we were like, "Oh yeah, put that right outside London, Bad Stevener. That's amazing."
So we're sailing around now, and obviously you can see in the upper left we have our engine and our fuel going down, we have food, and then there's this stat called terror. And this is a very important part of the game. So why don't you guys tell us a little bit about what is terror and why you need to watch out for it?
So terror is a kind of longer term danger, I think. Fuel and hunger can increase quite rapidly, but terror is this sort of lurking killer, and it probably won't be a problem on your first few expeditions. But as time goes on, it'll start to get more and more of a problem.
Oop.
Whoop,
Get away from
crab
me.
attack.
I think it come.
Yay!
Yeah.
Crab does not respect the commentary.
No, you didn't. Okay, so now we can butcher for supplies or for knowledge. I guess we'll go for 75% chance. That seems pretty decent.
Yeah.
For knowledge. Alright, we gain a fragment, and we succeeded. Alright, so while I'm sailing around to Mutton Island, Chris, why don't you finish talking a little bit about terror as it's starting to build up a little bit?
Yeah, so it'll be a while before it becomes a real threat, but once it gets too high, your crew will start mutinying and everything will start going quite strange and sinister. And once it goes above a certain level, it's kind of hard to get all the way back down. But returning to London will reset it to, if it's gone above 50, it'll reset it to 50. And you can keep your eyes open for places to keep it controlled as you're sailing around. The fog here impacts your line of sight, and the speed. It makes you are more stealthy while you're in it, and it slows down your target lock. Is that right, Liam?
That's right. Yeah. One of the main concepts in combat is it's all about positioning, location, and a lot of that has to do with whether your enemy is in your your headlights. The headlights are a very important tool to navigating the undersea. For a start, if your headlights are off, terror increases faster. Your crew don't like being in the dark. It also means that if you're getting up alongside your enemy, but they are not in your headlights, it's harder for your crew to get a lock on. So it'll take longer for them to actually get a target. You can offset that though by buying flares, and then you can just fire a couple of flares up into the air, and that usually keeps the enemy well illuminated.
Okay. Okay, I just got the report from Quaker's Haven. I'm going to try this visit the hilltop. Oh, I gained more terror, but we got some fragments there. That's all for now. Now, in terms of the shop, we have... So this place just generally has fuel and supplies.
But they are at a premium.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it'll probably better go back to Fallen London at some point to stock up there, because it seems to be cheapest.
Yeah.
So
I think that's probably because your character knows Fallen London and the right places to get a deal.
Yeah.
All right. So now this map that we're on right here, you can only see this little part here. The world is preset, right, on each gameplay. It's not a randomly generated world, or is it randomly generated?
It's there is shifting, but there are elements that remain constant. So as I say, it's all set in a giant cavern actually, and the cavern wall never changes. The cities that are littered along the edges remain in the same location.
Okay.
However, islands do tend to shift from game to game. So, for instance, you got that little quest to go find the Iron and Misery funging station. That's going to be a bit of a challenge. You're actually going to have to go and hunt it. I was so sure you were that was going to be it right there, and you were going to have stumbled it across it just as I said that.
Wait, could this be it?
No, that is Station 3.
No, that's another station. That's not a good station.
Oh, okay.
That's an evil station.
Yeah, Station 3 was written by Emily Short, and I actually can't read the story in Station 3 because it freaks me out so much. It really makes me feel physically ill. It's so creepy and it's really nasty.
Right. As I'm slowly getting there, you can see in the bottom left-hand corner that my fragments are filling up, and it's filling up this bar here. Why don't you guys explain what that is for people who haven't played the game yet?
Fragments convert to secrets, and I guess secrets are they're kind of our leveling up currency. Once you have a secret, you can share it with a member of your crew, and they will in turn impart a bit of a bonus to one of your primary stats. So, for instance, the Longshanks gunner that you have there will share a bit of her wisdom on iron, and that will increase your iron stat. So you're rewarded for exploration in that way. The more you navigate around the sea, the more you understand of it, the more points you can put into your core stats. And actually, the mirrors skill is it's the pages skill. Sorry, correction. Pages actually affects how quickly you acquire secrets, because that bar at the bottom you'll see has a little buffer zone, which is your pages score, and the bigger that is, the fewer fragments it takes to gain a secret. So that's your shortcut into leveling up faster. But obviously it means you have to put points into that rather than iron, and it can sometimes mean you have a bit of a tougher time of it in combat.
Okay. I love this little description here. We may infer Station 1 and Station 2, and we may conjecture Station 4. We have no idea there's a Station 8, though. That's, completely insane there.
Yeah.
So with the...
Neither confirm nor deny the existence of Station 8.
So you mentioned, who wrote the story for Station 3 again?
Emily Short,
Emily.
a very famous interactive fiction author.
So for the different islands and different towns on the Sunless Sea, did like every member of Failed Bear like have a little hand in it, or did certain people just essentially have carte blanche to, we're going to make the story for this city or for this port?
We parceled it out by islands and characters, really. Alexis wrote the bulk of it, and then we'd give our very talented freelance writers specific islands to work on, and that it turned out working quite well, because you want each island to feel a bit different, so it kind of fits that they have slightly different voices, and the same for the characters. So certain of the officers were written by our freelance as well. I'm trying to think of an example. It'll come back to me later, I'm sure.
Okay.
But yeah, that turned out working quite well, and it's sort of easier to give a freelancer a Sunless Sea Island than it is to write a chunk of Fallen London content, really, which all has to fit very much the tone of Fallen London itself, and fit in with this big kind of soup of content. But Sunless Sea, you've got this gap between each island and this journey between each one, so it fits having different voices.
Okay. Now, one thing that I'm doing that you probably shouldn't be doing is just going straight across the darkness of the sea here. I'm trying to find some light and something that I can use to keep the terror down. For, I guess, basic strategy of playing Sunless Sea, is it possible to keep your terror down at all times if you're careful, or is it going to rise up no matter what you do?
If you travel along the coast, then proximity to land is something that brings your crew comfort. They're very cowardly, your crew, unless there are certain areas of the sea that they don't like being near, and that will not help at all. But you can usually tell which ones are going to scare them. The other thing that you can do is you can see these little light buoys. When you're within the warmth of those, then your crew are happier as well. But no, it's pretty much impossible. You've got to pass through the darkness most of the time. It's all about damage limitation rather than preventing it entirely.
Yeah. Okay. And events on islands will increase your terror as well.
Okay. And some of them will decrease it. You go to a bar, and your crew is usually happier then, unless you get into a fight, in which case they usually scares them as well.
Okay. Now, this little hunger meter up here, I know this fills up. What is this little mark right there you can see? What does that represent?
So, when your hunger increases until it hits 50, at which point, if you have supplies in your hold, your crew will crack one open and feed themselves, and all is well. If you do not have supplies in your hold, it will continue to increase until it hits 100, and your crew will get steadily hungrier. And as the crew gets hungrier, things get worse and worse for them, and sometimes they have to resort to unpleasant deeds.
Okay, so we are just collecting ourselves back at Fallen London. Little gif. This mysterious stranger who's willing to offer us something.
He looks completely very friendly chap.
Yeah,
entirely trustworthy. I think
offering to gut a fish for you.
Yeah, undoubtedly. As a kind of beginner's tip, though, I think it's worth accepting his initial gift, because it's a big pile of stuff, and you can make good use of that in the early stages.
Yeah, let's go for it.
Just be careful about how far you take the relationship, I'd say.
He's less pushy than you would imagine at first, and I actually think he's not such a bad sort. I mean, he's proven to be not the case, but
Okay, so now we're back in town. We can see that fuel and supplies are a lot cheaper here compared to back out in, I think we saw some at Station 3 maybe. Now, for these other items here, like the soft glim lamp, a lot of these other various shops, what purposes do they have in terms of generally playing through the game?
So a lot of them are simply places for you to sell the goods that you've accrued on your journey out and about. Some of the more exotic items, they maybe won't have a taste for in Fallen London. You'll have to find other ports to go to. Certainly, some of the more illegal items, that's the case. But Fallen London is good for provisions and also for upgrading your ship, getting it decked out with superior firearms. As you actually upgrade to larger ships as well, you'll unlock the ability to arm it with more than one gun and extra hold space and a couple of items like that. So the shops are always a good place for that sort of thing. There are also some items you can use in combat. I mentioned flares earlier, and there's also a Ratus Faber assistant, which is a little rat who will helpfully go and repair your hull mid-combat, presumably because that's too dangerous a job for a for a person to do.
I like how he has a little tiny rat wrench there. I mean,
Yeah.
there's a business there for, I guess, rat wrenches on the Untersee.
Yeah, well, presumably there's a little rat blacksmith who's making these goods. They're very industrious, the rats in Fallen London.
They are.
Okay, so when you go out into the sea, obviously we need fuel, we need food. What's considered like a good standard or an average amount of those resources you should take out with you each time?
Depends how far you're going, really, and it depends how much trade you want to do, because they use up space in your hold. So if you want to ship tons of goods, you have to take that into account. And also, you can. So bats are quite a good source of supplies. So if you're going somewhere you know there are likely to be bats, you can kind of get away with having fewer supplies on board. I generally like to have at least sort of 10 fuel before I leave, and sort of about at least 5 supplies as well normally.
Okay.
Supplies tend to last a bit longer.
Yeah.
Well, you know, if the worst comes to the worst, there are other things to eat on the undersea and even on board ships. So you're not. It's not game over if you run out of supplies. Whereas fuels, it's pretty tricky to get anywhere if you don't have any fuel in your hold.
Okay.
It's worth visiting the survey office actually, because you visited. Did you get a port report?
Yeah, I got 2
Yes,
of them.
there you go. So you get these from ports that you visit. You can almost always collect a port report and return them here, and they give you fuel and money, and often supplies, or sometimes supplies, and favors, Admiralty's favor. You might have seen there. So they win you favor with the Admiralty, which you can cash in for cheaper repairs to your ship.
Cool.
I always think that's a bit cruel, really, the fact that the Admiralty decides just like, we feel you've done a good job, but we'll feel worse of you if you go and get repaired.
Yeah.
It's like, why does it cost me that?
So we have a few secrets, obviously, from exploring the sea and filling up the fragments. So for the secrets, are they mainly just used for upgrading crew members and for the university? I have not seen nearly all of the content that's available, and I wouldn't be surprised if they have uses beyond that, which I've currently used them for. But they're
occasionally they do. I think not often, but occasionally someone will. You can trade a secret for something. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I made friends with this lovely chap. We're not sure, her, him.
Who could say?
Yeah. It's another
What a
secret,
question.
folks. All right, so we'll come back there later.
That's a good place to take any kind of esoteric or strange items you find on your travels. The Alarming Scholar will often pay a decent price for them.
Okay, so we have some new possible recruits. We've got the Maybe's daughter, Presbyterian adventuress. You got all the descriptive words in this game. and we can just hire more crew members. Now, up here we have 8 out of 10 crew. Does the Zailers, I can't believe I pronounced that right on the first try, do the Zailers actually affect like how the ship is run or how combat plays out?
So you always want to have a full complement of crew, or a close to full complement. It's always good to have a couple of spare hands on deck because there are some nasty beasties out and about in the ocean, and should one poor soul be knocked overboard by a probing tentacle, at least there's someone else to step up and take their place. You definitely don't want to make sure you've got too few crew manning your vessel, because it's at that point things can start going quite badly for you. If you have half of the recommended crew for your vessel, then you can no longer move at full speed. And everything's a bit more dangerous when you're traveling slowly through the ocean. And when it's lower still and you've only got a quarter of your crew, guess what? They get terrified more quickly.
Of course, because there's only 3 guys on the boat.
In the darkness, desperately singing sea shanties to one another, just hoping that it all ends soon.
Okay, so I've been leaving it on the screen. We have the opportunity to have a new crew member join. At this stage of the game, is it worth it to get a new officer, or should I save my echoes for something else?
Officers usually come with a pretty good bonus.
Yeah.
In addition to which, they give you a route into upgrading different stats, and also just from a narrative point of view, it's another person to talk to, another set of stories to hear, and they possibly open up the opportunity to explore other adventures out in the ocean. So every chance I would try and grab an officer.
Okay.
And each officer has quite an extensive story of their own, and maybe his daughter there increases engine power, which will increase your speed a bit as well. So that she's probably a good one.
Yeah, I was thinking about taking maybe's daughter, so I think we'll grab this. All right, and now I guess I have to assign her. There we go. All right, we have 2 crew members and our little comatose ferret mascot there.
He is not happy. He's not a happy man.
He's not happy.
It's a good idea as well to reassign your officers while you're in port. You can do it outside of port, but again, your cowardly crew, when they see that you're demoting and promoting people, start to get a bit jittery, and it increases your terror.
Okay, I guess I'll read the morning paper. So the Lodgings is where you can come back to whenever you get back to Fall London. I see there's a whole lot of options available. I assume consider retirement. This is the way of ending this play. Rest in a room. I guess we'll read the morning paper. Well, we lost 1 point of terror.
The papers in Fallen London must be a lot nicer than the ones in real London. Then if it's
Clearly
decreasing
not the
terror,
Daily Mail.
it's like, oh no, not house price increase again.
Plus
But that
3
gives you,
terror there.
That gives you recent news, which is often valued at other islands across the sea. They're always keen to hear news of London.
Okay. So I think we are ready to go out. Has anyone actually joined the Twitch chat, or is it just the 3 of us sharing sea stories at the moment?
Have a look. Yeah, it's just us going, yar.
Well, the good thing about this is it's all getting recorded, and it will be up for people to look at later. So they'll be able to listen to us regale our tales for some time to come. Alright, so we went south last time. Let's head up north. And I can't see the clock right now. How long have we been recording for?
It's
Around
now
30 minutes?
Yeah, about that.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear.
Oh, 40 minutes.
Okay. I guess we'll take one more path out. We'll see how far we can go, and then I think we could probably call it there, unless you guys want to keep going.
I want to see this sponging station, so let's try and find that.
Alright. Did we get a hint of where it was at?
The bunging station is now, as the man who set the rules as to where they go, I'm privy to more information. It tends to be close to home waters, So it's always to the east of Fallen London, and then it tends to shift to the north and south of there.
Okay. Okay, we got some people.
And when you get the commission, it gives you a kind of general hint. Normally, it'll say sort of a long way to the north or some way to the east or something. Generally,
I'd probably recommend searching in a vaguely northeastern direction. There's something I've got a feeling in my waters that's where it is. If it is now, everyone's going to suspect I've got some way of controlling remotely how the maps generate.
Okay, so we have a chance to talk to these three sisters. And do you guys have a preference for who we chat with today?
I think Phoebe's fun. I always like Phoebe.
yeah.
All right. Okay. Here's our little story here. And again, a great part about Sunless is that every island, every town has its own little story just to bring you into this world. And I know you said a few minutes ago with having the different officers, it's great to have these people to chat to. In one of my previous plays, I think I got to the story involving like some kind of like rat strike where I had to decide which group of rats to side with in a civil war.
Rats and the guinea pigs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
One thing I've just noticed here is you've lost 40 hunger, and hunger's your crew. So you've clearly taken your entire crew and officers into the house with you.
Yeah.
They've just had to feed sort of like 12 people. Probably got the little ferret up on the table, eating a little bowl of nuts as well.
Yeah, man, that sister is really nice. He fed everyone there. All right, let's see if we can find this funging station. I'm gonna have so much trouble pronouncing that after this gas. Now, one option. I just want to quickly point out one thing that I did earlier was do full power to the engines. Why don't you explain to us why you don't want to keep hitting this button too many times?
Full power to the engines. That gives you a nice burst of speed, and your ship is until you've upgraded your engines a bit. Your ship can be it goes at a leisurely clip, and so you've got that full power option. Should things get a little bit dire, you're being chased by some giant crab or something. However, it does put a strain on your engines, and every now and then they will explode, and that's not great.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, just a tiny little explosion.
Yeah, that happened on my very first play of Sunless. I just kept hitting the button, all of a sudden I got the explosion.
My theory is that's how most first plays of Sunless Sea end, in a blaze of glory.
All right, we are sailing along. Oh, there's an island here. Oh, it's just some landmass. There are no islands. Now, I saw a tooltip that says that the bat is better at searching if you're just floating without moving. Is that true? Like something that determines how well it's able to detect new islands?
Well, it's one of those things that we were fairly sure that the bat was giving us accurate readings, but obviously as your ship moves, until you've finished reading the sentence, you could actually have drifted into a different quadrant and moved away from where your bat first reported. It used to be that it would give you a report of where it was based on where it found it. So it would return after another sort of 10 seconds, and you'd no longer be in the right location. So if you want a completely accurate reading, the safest thing to do is just send the bat out and remove power from the engines. Or if it finds something, you can mark it on your chart. So you can then just refer to that, have a quick little look.
Cool. All right, so I went up to the northwest. Doesn't seem like it's there. So we pretty much mapped out this whole area.
This is the safe zone, yeah.
Yeah.
And there's that very dangerous-looking jellyfish that was eyeing us from the fog bank.
They are fast. They don't hit you as hard as some other enemies, but they're quite tricky to get a lock on. I think if I'm not mistaken, you are approaching a sort of stalagmite forest. Stalagmite, I got that right, I believe.
Yes, you did. Well done, that man.
Yeah, there we
Alright.
are.
There's Abbey Rock, some distance to the south. Let's see. Do we have an idea? Oh, there it
So
is.
there you are.
We fed the crew. Now it says here that engine power plus 100. Is there some place on the UI that you can see that or see what your engine is putting out?
I believe it's somewhere in your journal. Um,
Okay.
you'll if you go to your the overview of your ship, you will see what your engine power is.
Okay. Quarters
So,
10.
oh, so if you go to your hold,
Oh,
I
okay.
think it's
There we go.
and
Let's
then
see. Warm up time
engines.
4. Okay. Engine power plus 800.
So there we are.
Okay. So we land on Abbey Rock. And I like the different like little artworks, like the details you have on the left side for the people and the towns. Who did the various like screen or these little vignette pictures for the game?
Our artist Paul Arendt did all of them and all the islands
The,
and
the
most of
answer
them,
to
and all the monsters, I think.
yeah, the answer to anything that you see,
Yes,
art wise, is Paul. Paul did it all.
Paul did it.
And actually, they really nicely complement the artwork when you're sailing around, because obviously it's a top-down game,
Yeah.
and you never really get much of a sense of the verticality of things. But you'll notice that these portrait images they have, there's this real sense of like height to them, and it's I think between the two you start to get a sense of the geography of the place.
I think I find these journal pictures as well. They really help to kind of give you your character's viewpoint as you go into one of the stories. They're almost always kind of what you see from the ship as you're looking out. And Abbey Rock here is home to a ancient and highly trained order of ninja nuns.
Nice. Let's see. We could try a romance with the Maybe's daughter. Let's see, we could upgrade her Vels. Where is it? There we go. So, what should we do? Should we just leave her alone for now, or should we try anything?
I'd upgrade Vale. I think there's
Alright.
the faster you get your stats up, the better, really.
I have to say, when it comes to role-playing games, I'm fairly adventurous, and I tend to proposition like everyone in sight. So I'd have gone for the proposition, but if you want to increase the fails, sure thing.
Let's see. Oh, we lost terror. Nice. Oh, we fraternize. And we have an affair going. Yes.
That's what we're calling it. That's what the kids are calling it these days.
Okay. Oh, we have our.
Poor Alexis had to write like, what was it, like 20 love scenes?
Yeah.
For each of them. Oh, just absolutely tons of them. And some of the officers are pretty unusual. Yeah. Yeah, he's never been quite the same since then.
No, it was great. You could tell when he was writing those, because I'd look across the table and just be sort of beetroot red.
Yeah.
What a modest man.
Alright, as we continue sailing, now the game has been out for a few months. How has new content or new stories been added to Sunless Sea for people listening?
So we've done quite a number of content updates, I guess. A lot of content that's sort of extra islands and stories on islands doesn't require a full patch. You can just click a button on the main menu and it'll download them. So there's been a bunch of those, and there's another one forthcoming, I believe, for the including some content for our Kickstarter backers, which is the Pirate Poet.
Oh,
Aha!
we finally got something all the way up there.
Ooh.
Yeah, but it's an exciting one. Yes, we've also, in addition to, so it would be easy to imagine that the content that we're putting in sort of lies on the the peripherals, like they're just little islands and stuff. But we're always kind of adding things that are closer to home as well. One of the ambitions you saw there, where you found an empire, that was actually something that we added afterwards as a kind of like alternate win condition, which is kind of a nice surprise for people when they start a new captain in a game that they think they've explored quite thoroughly, and they now have an entirely new motivation for setting out to sea.
And there's a couple of those secret ambitions in the game now that you unlock while playing, rather than at the start of the when you create the character.
Cool. Now, one thing we haven't mentioned yet that I just want to clarify for people watching is obviously we've said that Sunless Sea takes place in the same world as Fallen London, which is Failbetter's browser-based title. Mm-hmm. Is there any connection or rewards for someone who plays both these games at the same time?
There's a couple of things. So there's if you're really into the Fallen London lore, there's stuff in Sunless Sea that we haven't explored much in Fallen London, and vice versa. There's also there's some content you can get in Fallen London. You can find a sea chest. Mm-hmm. And you can either open it, you can either sell it for your Fallen London character and get some resources, or you can pass it to a sea captain of your acquaintance, in which case it goes to your Sunless Sea character and opens a kind of a small quest to pursue.
All right, we finally found the Fungening station. Again, you can see a lot of the pictures that you said it sort of gives like this element of verticality to the surroundings. Here we have these giant mushrooms or toadstools or just shrooms.
Yeah, fungus. Fungus is a big part.
Yeah, because we can't really use trees and forests and plants and stuff
because there's no light in the cavern.
Yeah, so there's a few places where there are some, but generally we can't use any of that kind of imagery. So mushrooms have become very important to us.
One of my favorite things about this island is when we did the Kickstarter, prior to actually going live with it, we did some tech demos because this was our first attempt at a real-time game, and we wanted to make sure that we felt that we had the skills in-house in order to do it. And it was very basic at first. It was just sailing around a very small map with very few islands. And there was Fallen London, and there was one other, which we called the Demo Island, because it was just going to exist in a demo. And then eventually we changed the spelling of the Demo Island, and it made it into the actual game.
I didn't know that.
This is I think this is the first piece of terrain that Paul drew, and it's been prettified over a number of passes since that point. But yeah, you were visiting the very first island.
Nice.
As in Sunless Sea.
The Island, the primal island.
Yeah.
From whence all others came.
Okay, I think we got it. Now we have 6 fuel. Do you think we have enough to do more exploration, or should we start heading our way back down to Fallen London?
Well, you started out with 12, and you've had a pretty good run around here. I think you're pretty safe. I think my estimation, it would probably take you 3, maybe 4 fuel to get back to London. Yeah. So don't be too ambitious, but I think you'll be okay.
All right. I guess we'll take this mysterious way back. That should be enough to spot things. And while we're sailing around, I know we did combat earlier, but I wanted to ask you guys just to touch on the combat system for Sunless Sea, because this was a part that was iterated on and changed during the early access phase of the game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it kind of changed completely. While we were in early access, after when we started early access, we knew there was a lot of work to be done on the combat system as it existed, but we wanted to get it out there, have people look at it, and get their feedback. And the response was there were some fans of the combat system, but on the whole, everyone said it sort of took them out of the experience, and it wasn't terribly well received. So we sort of said, well, okay, we've got the time, we can take the time it needs and fix it. And our intention was to take the original system and give it a brush up, just make it feel punchier and make it feel more in keeping and in tone with the rest of the game.
Wow,
But
that's some good timing, by the way. We got combat just as we were talking.
So we did some experimentation, and what became immediately apparent was there was this real difficulty in communicating the sense of your location in relation to the enemy and whether or not they were illuminated by you. And lots of things that it felt very odd that we were moving to a different screen to try and represent these things, and so we sort of we sort of sat around and went, could we potentially, it didn't really feel when we started out like doing real-time combat is something we'd be able to do, but we'd come a little way since the Kickstarter had begun, and so we thought, well, we'll do a quick demo. We'll quickly see how it works, and the amount of information that we could sort of like drop and keep the system leaner and more intuitive when we went to real time. It was just suddenly it didn't feel like you were breaking the flow of the game. It actually all felt much better integrated. That's an appalling use of language. This is why Chris writes and I stay quiet. But yeah, it all sort of snapped together, and we found that that central idea of a game of cat and mouse in the dark, it was much easier to convey in real time, and so we knew it was going to take a bit longer to develop than we'd originally envisaged our combat rework happening, but we decided that it was going to be worth the additional time it would take us. So we spoke to the community and we told them we were going to push back the release date, and they were very understanding, and they were like, "Yep, get it right," you know. So we took the time and we basically overhauled the entire system. It looks completely different from the way it works, but keeps that core sense we were going for of trying to stay safe and hidden, while at the same time trying to keep your enemy in sight and your crew locking on to get that final fatal shot.
Yeah, and it does, as you said, it does feel a lot better integrate into the experience compared to the last one, which did sort of take you out. So you were going between C and then the turn-based combat, then C and vice versa. Now, while you were talking, I did finally find the tomb colonies. This is the first time I actually found this, and again. I was just going to say another great like little art scene right here, like this town just like, rising up out of the sea almost.
This, I really like the Tomb Cost. I think it's kind of hilarious. This is the first time you've been here because that event there, the Vengeance of Jonah, is a really rare event. It's really unlikely. It's like 5% or something. It's really small. There's another way you can get to activate it, but you've basically unlocked a little kind of sub area.
Nice. And we got it recorded too. Perfect. All
That's
right.
what happens if you have the developers in your stream.
Yeah.
You get better luck.
I think I
All
need
of the random
that.
number generations are, there's a plus 30 modifier.
Nice. All right, so we can do. Let's see, no more. Again, the story just really pulls you into this world with all the different little characters and just what's going on. And as I wrote in my review of the game, it really does remind me of like the Lovecraftian feel, like the amount of descriptions. and just how the world is fleshed out using the writing.
Lovecraft we get the Lovecraft reference quite a lot. I think there is definitely Lovecraft inspiration in Fallen London, but also I think if you've got sort of darkness and tentacles and ancient underground cities and stuff, it perhaps looks more like Lovecraft than it actually is. And certainly the universe of Fallen London isn't. Lovecraft's universe is entirely dispassionate and uncaring. It's not cruel. It just doesn't care about anything humanity cares about. And that's not true of the Fallen London cosmology. I won't say any more for fear of spilling vast lore secrets. But there's kind of quite fundamental differences really between them. But we're also influenced by a lot of other early horror writers, Clark Ashton Smith, M.R. James and the Ghost Stories, lots of others that will occur to me as soon as we stop recording.
Okay. All right, so I'm just looking at the shop again. As you guys mentioned earlier in the recording, most of these items are just mainly there for you to sell at the various stores. Is there any actual trading that you can do, in the sense that you go to a specific port, buy their items at the lower cost, and then bring it back to another place for higher profit?
Yeah, there are. They tend to be further afield than you've ventured thus far. But there's certainly the taste for the exotic. So sometimes when you go down to the south coast, you'll find that there are items that are of value back in Fallen London. But a lot of the time as well, it's private commissions to go and fetch items that will earn you the most reward.
Okay. Now I saw that I could recruit that chef from Vendorplay, but
the bandaged poissonnier.
Oh,
thank you for pronouncing that, by the way.
I wrote him, so I had to learn how to pronounce him. I also had to spell him 100 times, which I never got right. So I think I almost killed our editor.
He's one of my favourite officers, actually. I won't go into too much detail, but I have to be the one to say this because it'd be very boastful of Chris to say it. But his storyline, I say little storyline, his massive storyline is one of the most interesting in the game, I think, and it's also one of the ones that feels the least like a kind of rogue-like exploration narratives. Like his motivations are quite different from the ones you usually see in video games.
He is basically all about the fish. So yeah, you don't see a lot of that in video games.
Oh, we're passing.
We're coming up to this area here. So there's an area of London called High Barnet, and here you can see it's sunk under the waves, and it's therefore called Low Barnet. And we can thank for that pun none other than Mr. Liam Welton.
Thank you very much.
Excellent pun.
It's my only contribution to the content, really.
Okay, let's zoom out a little bit. So we explored this nice little section, but we got all of this left.
It gets more dangerous as well when you start straying out of these the safe home waters.
Could you just see? So you can see there's some ruined areas of London there as well, and that's kind of part of the fact that London's the 5th city to be founded on this spot, and there are kind of the ruins of older cities around and under and kind of intermingled with it.
Cool.
And that's certainly not a giant tentacle there you can see through the docks. That would be a scurrilous allegation to make.
All right, we are almost. Well, we got back with just 2 fuel cans.
How was that as an estimate?
Look at that.
I said it would take 4.
All right, we have. Oh, there's nothing to hide, so I guess, man, they keep coming to search for us.
Oh yeah. No, they're very suspicious of people who sail the undersea. Why else would you do it? You're clearly carrying illegal goods.
Uh-oh, the blind bruiser, he's back.
He's back.
Okay, let's see.
Sudden explosion of stories there on the right.
Yeah. Am I able to mount Palmerston? Yeah, I guess we have to.
This is where he gets less understanding and more pushy as well. From this point on.
And there you are. Now you've just been given the sort of item you don't want to go to nice law-abiding ports with.
Illegal goods, of course.
Yeah. The description on that item is actually really nice as well. I like that one a lot.
Let's see, where...
It's right there in your cargo section.
Better not be caught with it. Let's see, so this guy is willing to give us a tattoo, and we can get some upgrades, but we need more items for that, other than the unflinching
It's kind of a mix
eye.
of stuff. Yeah, some of them it's items, and some of it's kind of it sort of represents your deeds. Yeah, it's kind of what you're getting commemorated on your skin. Yeah.
And then we have an urchin. I'm not sure what's all
Liam knows all about commemorating things on his skin.
Yeah, I now have a tattoo as a result of the Kickstarter and a rather unwise promise that we made about certain pledge thresholds. Been branded by the game.
You've been marked forever. All right, let's see. He wants to give me he wants a memory of distant shores. Let's give it to him. Well, his favors are increasing. We got some more echoes. I was hoping to get enough to get that cook back at Vendor Blight.
You've explored a couple of islands now. I could well imagine that the Admiralty would probably be interested in your findings.
Yeah, so let's head... There we go. They'll pay... Yep, let's give it to them. Well, we're getting more fuel and echoes. That's good.
As you see, the further out the islands, the better the rewards tend to be for bringing back information.
All right. I guess we should speak with the Dark Spectacle Admiral. He seems to want to talk to us.
Nope.
Nope, never mind. Let's see. This will take you to
yeah, there he is. Yep.
Oh, here he goes. Pass on strategic. We're not there yet. We can submit port reports. Let's see what he needs. Does he need anything? Information. Okay, well, we've been giving him information.
Thanks for being so specific.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Let's
stuff.
head back. Let me see. I can trade a few more of those in. Where was it? Put your ship on Dydra. There you go. London.
Oh, where's he gone?
Where did it go? Are they not happy with me anymore?
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
Oh,
click
there it
there.
is.
Yeah. He's still waiting in his office.
You just looked out the window to see if there's anything more interesting happening.
Oh, there you
He's
go.
wondering, what are you doing? What? Oh, now we have enough echoes for
Oh,
that.
yeah.
Let's see. This will say we're 1 point of favor. Well, we have. I guess I could do that. I do have some more port reports. Yeah, there we go. Abbey Rock. Man, we got a lot of echoes. This is like most profitable game so far. Let's see. Where was it? And I think I have.
Exploration's really kind of key to the.
Yeah.
Information is a key currency in both of the games, actually, both Fallen London and Sunless Sea, because you can actually sell secrets in Fallen London. Like they've got a kind of a physical currency.
Okay.
There's others kind of like usually intangible things that you can sell. We really do like to blur the lines between what you would imagine to be a physical good and what isn't, and what's worth money to other people. And yeah, the scholar and the admiral are both keen on getting information from you, whereas I suppose the blind bruiser, the thug at the blind bruiser, he's probably more interested in cold hard coin and goods.
So I'm at the shipyard. I think this is the first time we're actually looking at the screen. What's the general upgrade path that most players should take on their first trip in Sunless Sea?
the more hold space you have, the further you can travel because you can take more fuel with you, and the more goods you can bring back to London. So you want to be aiming to get a ship with a decent amount of hold space, but obviously those require more men to or more crew to sail the vessel. That's represented by the quarters stat. And as I say, you can see these ones have an auxiliary slot on and an aft slot, in fact. So you could equip a gun to the rear of your ship. So even when you're retreating like a coward, you can get off a few sneaky shots.
Can you change like this gun right, or does it always have to? Oh yeah, it says deck weapon. So I could. So we get a ship that has aft and
Aft and
forward.
forwards. Yeah.
You can buy the guns for there. Okay. Let me see. Is there anything
Well out of
pressing?
your price range. At the
Yeah,
moment.
definitely. Oh, we have another recruit, the irrepressible cannoneer.
Oh, I love the irrepressible cannoneer. Oh, the single rigged navigator. I wrote that one as well. He's great as well, obviously.
Yeah, he is good.
He's got one of the nastiest stories, I think.
Well, I think what we'll do, we can hop back up there, grab that chef, just to have almost a full complement. And then
Yeah,
I think
mean, this guy, he's got a giant glowing magical rune on his head, but he's no bandaged fish chef. Let's face it.
I think it was 300 echoes for the chef. Was that right?
Yes, that's right.
All right, so we have enough, and we should have enough fuel to get back there too.
You could also there's the tomb colonies are a place that people in Fallen London go to not die. No one really dies in Fallen London, but they go to rest, and you can offer passage to them and take them up there, and they'll pay you for that. So that's another good way of making a little bit of coin.
Yeah.
Can you do the Venderbright trip every time you come back to Fallen London, or does it take like some time to reset?
You can definitely redo it. I'm not sure how many times you can redo it or if it's randomized, but you can usually do it, I think.
Okay. I think I'll just buy a little bit more fuel just to be on the safe side. You never know.
Yeah. You don't want to be buying fuel in Venderbight if you can get away with it.
Yeah. And we have 4. I guess I'll buy one more, just get that up to 5.
Yeah,
Okay.
live dangerously.
Alright, so we'll head back up there. We'll do this quick little trade with the coffin, and we'll get our chef, and I think we will probably call it there.
Okay.
Yeah, so this has definitely been a great play. Again, having the developers on has made things a lot more luckier for me.
I've only done one sit-in on a Let's Play before this one, and they did incredibly well too. I don't know what it is about my presence. They went like 3.5 hours without having played the game at all, and they didn't run into any mishap. I've never heard of anyone getting that lucky.
Yeah.
You're like a lucky parrot. A lucky parrot.
Or a
Me as a
comatose ferret.
I am a lot more like a comatose ferret. Definitely as hirsute as one.
Alright, while we're sailing back through the dark, I know, Chris, your game Below finally came out. Uh-oh, got some pirates. So while I'm hopefully trying to take these guys out, how is Below going? Oh.
Yeah, good. So it launched last week after extensive beta testing. Everything. It's really good to see it out and see people playing it and stuff. It's great. Yeah.
Okay, we almost got him.
Nearly. One more.
There we go. And then, of course, like any good sea festival, we gotta scavenge them. We have a cache of curiosities. Oh, let's open it up. I like the little teeth on this key there.
Yeah.
Another little
That's
message.
the,
Never noticed that.
I've never noticed that. That's the exceptional hat, isn't it? It's the outline
Yeah,
of
it is. Yeah.
The
I'm gonna
the
have to
fanged
tap.
hat of Fallen London.
I'm gonna have to pat Paul on the back for that. For sneaking that one in.
And we got more supplies from that too. Okay, so we're almost back up there. We got more than enough food.
Yeah,
Fuel
about-
is good. Oh, what happened?
Oh, hey, how you doing?
Uh,
Your
let's go.
favourite officer.
Uh-huh.
Open cushions. Oh dear lord. We're so classy.
Well, we did some more fraternizing. There
A
we go.
chuckle, a wink, and a kiss.
Okay, we're almost back up there. Yep, just get around here.
So these trysts you can have with your officers, it's also kind of significant that you can form a more lasting relationship with a sweetheart in London, which can lead to having a child, which if you raise the child right can lead to them becoming a scion, which improves the options you have for passing things on to your future captains.
Cool.
But obviously there's risks if you've got a sweetheart
Playing
at
away.
home, yes, if you're having trysts on board, word gets out sometimes.
Let's see.
So this is your tomb colonist that you've brought with you.
I haven't read this one before.
This is a brilliant one.
You
They're all
never really
different.
know what's going to happen when you bring a tomb colonist to Venderbite, and I haven't seen this one before. That's great.
I guess let's try and help her out. Let's try to be nice. Let's see. Oh, we're now one. Oh, I'm a rapscallion now. Oh, lots of echoes.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, that tomb colonist must have done something awful if they had that kind of money on them.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
But we can afford our chef now, so let's get him on board.
And so begins the epic quest about sushi.
Oh, we now have a cook. Hearts +6, page 3. How are we doing up here?
These are looking like very healthy stats at the moment.
Yeah.
And we still need a first officer, and we still need a surgeon. Mascot's still good there.
And your gunnery officer is one of the very basic ones. So
yeah, just one.
She doesn't do that much. But even they have
she's your friend from the rooftops.
No,
you can't
it's
get rid of the
true.
Longshanks gunner.
Okay, I'm trying to think. Is there? Oh yeah. I guess a few more quick little questions before we wrap things up. Where can you see what your actual goals are? Oh, here they are. So
if you click the bar above that, you can see an expanded view.
there we go.
There we go.
Okay, how you win? Okay, there's our quest from earlier that we got about the 7 strange catches. He has a plan. I got something else.
Was that the Neathbow one?
It was
you actually have physical items.
Yeah.
in terms.
That's these blank ones, and as you find the 7 colours, they fill in. As you've got them all.
Now, where does it show? I guess how far I am along with what the quest is or complete this ambition for this play.
The way to get a sense of your progress there is to return to your lodgings, and it's one of the retirement options. I think you have to buy a house, essentially, on your route to writing the greatest story London has ever seen about your explorations. You need to get yourself a house so you can have a study, and then once you have a study, you can sit down to collect all of your memoirs. And once you've got that study, you can go and take a look at the various things that you might want to go and pick up on your routes there. It's things like tales of daring do and that sort of thing.
All right. I guess while I'm heading back to Fall in London for the last time, why don't the two of you talk a little bit about completing ambition and future plays? Like, how do things change, or what happens when you go to start a new game once you've completed ambition?
So it all depends what you want to leave to the captain that follows your current one. And the more you've explored, the more options you have of interesting things to give them. There are a couple of items out there in the Undersea which are not easy to get hold of, but they can really give the captain that follows a a big boost at the start of the game. Books that are like instructional manuals on how to fight beasties and the like. So yeah, when you start a new game, uh, you can pass on one of your crew members or maybe a favorite weapon that you had, um, your cash. Maybe you can impart some wisdom about um, the knowledge of the sea that you gained, or you could leave a chart, like a little record of what you found, and that can be very useful because knowledge is power in this game, and knowing the route to Demo Island, for example, can really help when the Admiralty comes calling, asking for one of those port reports.
I've seen people when they get a map that has sort of three items with profitable islands with profitable trade runs close together. Suddenly, preserving that map from captain to captain becomes quite a high priority.
Guess we'll try Lucy this time. Oh, she gave us more food. And we now have the Gods of the Z. We're keeping our terror down, which is really nice. Usually, by this point, I have like 30 terror. Alright, let's head back.
The trick with terror is be cautious, stick close to land, and your crew always appreciates shore leave. So returning to Fallen London, they get to see their sweethearts and walk the streets, and it usually cheers them right up. But you're, as I say, in some of the safer waters the undersea has to offer at the moment, and the further east you go, the stranger the wildlife and the islands that you visit, and you'll find your crew will become terrified a lot more frequently.
The other thing that helps, of course, is fraternizing like a Randy Stoat.
Yeah.
Now, for your stats, as you can see, we definitely have a lot of veils, and we're starting to go up in iron. Is there like a point where the stats that it's not worth it to level them up anymore, or is it just higher the better at all times?
There's sort of a functional soft cap on certainly the stats that relate to combat at around 200, I believe. So there's a lot of there's a big ceiling there, but at that point, I believe they do stop being quite as effective.
Okay.
One of the things I like about the Veil stat is to really kind of make the most of it, you want to be ambushing your opponent. So you want to be killing your light and lining up shots to get kind of as many initial early shots as you can before they orient on you. And then it's also good for running into a fog bank and dimming your light and losing them again. I find it's a really nice kind of cat and mouse gameplay.
Yeah, there's choosing the right arena for your battle, like particularly the Stalagmite Forest. If you have your lights off there, and you've got a good idea of where your enemy is, you can really give them the runaround if you've got a high enough Veil stat.
Which is another thing that the new combat system, the revised combat system, which put it on the world map, added, because it adds all these interesting consequences to combat. Like if you are doing the Veils dance, you're probably spending more time with your lights out, which means terror is going to be more of a problem for you. And it means when you are in somewhere like the Stalactite Forest, you have these kind of extra options about losing them behind stalactites and trying to line up ambushes and stuff.
Cool.
Yeah, a good captain keeps their crew in the dark when they're fighting monsters, which drives them absolutely balmy. But it is then at least kind enough to make sure that when they get to land, they get some drinking money and they can go to the pub.
I find it quite tense as well, because when your lights off and you're doing the Veil style combat, when your lights off, it takes you longer to get a firing solution on opponents. So there's this lovely kind of set of checks and balances and ups and downs to all the different approaches.
Awesome. So I found on the Lodgings, this is where you can go, at least for what we chose as the ambition, to get rich and retire. So you need to purchase the townhouse. That will give you one. So we are still very far away from there. Obviously, the best ways would be to go back out, explore, bring back those port reports, and of course maybe take a few more coffins up to Vendor Bite. Let's see. So if we chose a different ambition, we would have different options here, right?
Yeah, and for instance, if you take the Father's Bones ambition, it gives you a couple of hints as to where you might start your investigation, and so that all happens a little further afield. It's not so much about your personal progress back in Fallen London. It's kind of it's a bit of a wild goose chase in many ways across the Untersea, isn't it?
I guess one last thing I just want to point out, this token, the Invictus token, this is for playing Sunless Sea on Unforgiving mode, or more towards the roguelike element where you have one life. So if your hull runs out while you're out, you're gone. From your guys' experience, from the fans who have been playing Sunless Sea, have a lot of people kept with the roguelike mode, or have they switched to the merciful mode?
It's been from my personal experience talking to friends who play the game. It's a split. Some of them really like the sense of peril that you get. That was definitely what we were trying to retain in the game. That sense that every time you leave port, you might be leaving for the last time, and that there was real weight of consequence when you. Whenever you made a mistake. I know others who are just in it to read a really cracking yarn, and they trade in the Invictus token, and they save whenever they reach a port, or they make a decision they're happy with, and then just boot it up if something should go wrong. So we wanted to make sure that both types of players were catered for there. But I do think that the experience of leaving dock and not being sure if you'll ever make it back again, that for me elevates the narrative, and it really makes it an interesting experience. So I'm an Invictus token player all the way.
Yeah.
Okay, I think with that we're going to wrap things up. If you guys wouldn't mind hanging on for just like 1 second after we're done the stream, I just have a few other things to talk to you about.
Yeah.
I'm going to switch out. You probably won't see the screen. And for those of you watching, looks like we have a few people on. And let's see. I think everyone. I don't think we have any questions, unfortunately. But maybe we can do this again some other time, because it seems that you guys are good luck for me while playing this game.
We're kind of just a pair of developer bobbleheads on the front of your ship.
Well, you're much better than the comatose ferret, at least.
Well, awake for a start.
Yeah. All
We should
right.
put that on business cards, Liam.
Yeah.
Better than a comatose ferret.
Okay, so for those of you watching this, we're going to wrap things up here. Chris, Liam, it was a pleasure hanging out with you guys this afternoon, or considering your time, probably this evening.
Yep, it's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Yep, hopefully we can do this again sometime. And at some point, Chris, we should probably record some Hearthstone plays, just so you can kick my ass for like a good 40 minutes to an hour.
I haven't played in yonks, so this would be interesting.
Never a better time to get back in. Now we've got Black Rock
the new
Mountain.
adventure. Yeah. I hear its sweet siren song.
All right, so for those of you watching, if you haven't checked it out yet, make sure to look at Sunless Sea. It is, of course, available now on Steam. And I forgot, can you play Sunless Sea on anything other than Steam at the moment? Or is it just available on Steam?
It's available on Steam, Good Old Games, and Humble Bundle. And it's available for PC and Mac.
Cool.
Yep.
And, of course, make sure to check out Chris's latest game below. we still don't have a new title for below yet, right?
No, it's staying until someone makes me change it.
Awesome. And that is another browser-based game, but it's more roguelike-ish. It's a lot more about how long you can survive as opposed to the more, I guess, casual storyline that you can have in the Fallen London world.
It's a really fascinating game, that one. I really like Below.
Mm-hmm. I should get back into it since it just came out, and of course now I can play some more Sunless. Now I got some tips and tricks from the developers. All right, and as always, for those of you listening, for those of you watching this on YouTube and you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe to the channel. It'll help me out a lot. And you can watch these videos live under my username handle, I guess, whatever they call it there, of GW Bycer. And make sure to check out game-wisdom.com for posts and podcasts relating to game design and the industry. We've had several podcasts with Chris. I spoke with Liam a few months ago, and we should definitely catch up there at some point in the future.
Yeah, absolutely.
And last but not least, if you don't know about, we are running a Patreon campaign to secure some much needed monthly funding for the site. You can find that on Patreon by searching for Game-Wisdom. Anything would be greatly appreciated because it will allow me to continue working on great content like this while, of course, dealing with those very annoying bills. So, thanks again for tuning in this afternoon or whenever you're watching. And hopefully we'll be back real soon with more Sunless Sea or just hanging out more with Chris and Liam. So, thanks again, guys, and thank you for watching. Okay, and that will be it. So, guys, do you have any final things you would like to say to those watching?
I hope you enjoyed the stream, and it's the kind of game that we're only seeing a tiny little bit of it at the moment, and the further you explore, it's not like the choices seem to get smaller and smaller the further out you get. It just gets bigger and bigger until it's terrifying in its majesty.
All right. Any thoughts from you, Chris?
No, I'm not following that. No.
All right. So take care, everybody, and I'll be back real soon with some more video content. All right, and that will be it. So later, guys. All right.